Oh,
It's all right. We're live now, man. You might as well hit it now. Forget it.
Yep.
Go live.
Sorry, guys, about that. We have technical difficulties tonight. We have no countdown, so we're starting a little bit early. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. We've got Jason here, of course, from the AHP. And it's been quite an interesting week. But before we start, please hit that subscribe button and find us on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, and Parler. So all our links are down in the description. And yes, it's going to be a very interesting week this week with what has happened. So how's your week been, Jason?
No, not too bad, man. Bit of reloading for the 260. Bought some projectiles today, so I'm going to try those. I'm just trying to find out whether those ELDMs are going to work. 140 grain ELDM in the 260. So I got, as you guys seen, I got really explosive results out of on the bunnies with the 143 grain ELDX, and they're supposed to be a tougher jacket than the 140 grain match bullet. So I hope I get some expansion. If anyone shot the 140s on varmints, out of the 6.5, or base 6.5 Creedmoor 260 or 6.5 by 55, let us know what were the results. I'm keen to find out. So did a bit of loading and having a good time. And you've already got your first super chat.
Oh yes, we have. I'll just bring that up here.
While you're doing that, flick back for a sec, mute for a second, flick back to the YouTube. Hang on.
Yep, thank you very much, Lockie, for that. He's a regular donor to the show. Thank you so much. Also want to give a big shout out to our mate Hootie Who. He is a big YouTuber over in the US, gun YouTuber, top bloke. We talk quite a bit. So I did leave in the comments here a link to his channel. So please go over there, show him some Aussie love and subscribe to his channel. He's a top bloke and he has a top show and he puts out videos every single day. It's unbelievable. You would have heard us talk about him before because YouTube did the dirty on him as well and gave him a strike and banned him for a week. So he's in the chat room tonight as well. So go give Hootie a subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, welcome Hootie Who to the Shooting Stuff Australia. Welcome. Good shit. Yeah. Good to have someone from America, jumping on a live stream from Australia to find out what's happening. Bloody YouTube. I keep saying, Aaron, this bloody YouTube. I said, I hate the fact that, at least with podcasting that I do, I've never really seen podcasters, unless they're massive, be taken down. And it's easier to sometimes if you want to, you can host it yourself as well. Whereas bloody YouTube, I mean, if they go down or in 10 years a new platform starts, what do? All that effort. It's going to be a tough one. Bloody YouTube. I wish they'd get their shit together.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't think they ever will. I think it's just going to get worse with the American elections coming because you even have to look sideways at the left. I think they'll be happy to ban you because there's no way they want Trump to come in. And what I'll talk about that. What a interesting debate the other day.
I was watching it, man. Listen, most guys know, you've seen me in my videos, I'm a Trump supporter, but I just think he interjected a bit too much. I think he did well, but I think he interjected just a bit too much. And, Biden seemed to be doing okay. Like, he wasn't answering questions, but I reckon he had an earpiece because he's a lot better than he normally is. If you've seen him on the internet, he's always making gaffes, low testosterone, low energy, just, Biden. I mean, if that's the president and has got no passion or low energy, how's he going to run a country? But, I guess he won't run the country because Kamala Harris will be the one that's running the country within a year or two. So just hope he wins, man. I've just got people that are going to give me so much shit if he doesn't win. So I'm just praying he's going to win.
Yeah, she'll probably be running the country from underneath the desk, I dare say. But, yeah, it was a bit disappointing, that one, that's for sure. It was a bit bland. I was hoping he's going to tear shreds off old Sleepy Joe, but he unfortunately didn't. So let's hope next time he does. So something that's happened this week, actually, Hootie might be able to intervene into this one. I have heard on a couple of forums that primers in the US are getting very hard to come by. So as we all know, what happens over in the US filters down here because we're last in the food chain. and they're not going to restock Australia before they restock their own, which is quite understandable. We see it with ammunition. We saw the big 22 buyout a few years ago. It was months and months before you could get 22 ammo over here. So I highly recommend guys start stocking up on your reloading products, because if that's true, it's it's going to be hard to get stuff. And as we know, it takes months and months to filter down. And as what you told me this week, scopes are getting a bit hard to get over here in Australia as well.
I had a Night Force SHV that I had, and Aaron knows about this, didn't have it on a rifle. I was going to put it on the 22, but I've decided on something else. So I had a guy on Instagram that wanted it, and he paid pretty much full price for it, because you can't get the Night Forces at the moment. It was a late November, early to mid-December shipment date or pickup date. So he just said, mate, I'll pay you what you want for us. And okay, no worries. So ended up selling it, got the cash now, still deciding on a few things. I bought 1,000 140 grain ELDMs today from a gun shop in Queensland. And he was saying today that, you know, once those ones are gone, those bulk packs are gone, you're not going to be able to buy them. It's probably going to be at least 2 years before you can buy anything more than, say, 100 packs. So I just went, okay, well, shit, better stock up then. And shipping was only a bit more for an extra 500, because I was going to buy 500. Then I said, oh, stuff it, I'll buy 1,000. So ended up buying them and hopefully keep them there if prices go up. I mean, 56 cents for 143 grain ELDM. ELDXs are fantastic and explosive, but you know, they're $78 a box or somewhere around there. So anyway, we'll see how they go. And hopefully, you know, the trickle-on effect doesn't happen too much in Australia, but we'll find out.
Well, I'm trying to get one 42 grain Sierra Match Kings for the PRC, because it looks like that's the one that it's going to actually like. And there's none in Australia. No one's got any stock. So geez, I want to put that rifle on hold and get the 300 run up and working. At least I know I got all the components for that.
A lot of comments coming in right now. We've got our buddy Sean Fraser's on here. We've got Neil again, Constant now, he's on board. We've got some new people. We've got Grant Schubert. We've got Harps 666 back on. We've got our buddy Bagara back on. We've got Decker Hex. We've got Panaplexi's back. We've got Peter Zabradak from the NSC. Shit, we've got Hootie Hoo. Megan's back. Pranic Megan, how did you go with your guns? I think I saw comment just here that you haven't got no news on your guns yet. Well, let us know as soon as you do, hopefully for a good result there. But yeah, all our regulars are Aussie Capitalist. He's back on board too. A lot of if I've missed anyone, I do apologize. I'm just trying to scroll down through the questions and trying to hit everybody if I can. And of course, our buddy Hootie Hoo from the US is also tuning us from the big channel, so check him out.
Yeah, thank you very much, JR, who's a regular on the show. Hi, peeps, just checking in. Big g'day to Hootie Hoo, another fan. Yeah, he does make great videos, Jez, and I do know we talk a bit, and he's up all hours of the night editing to get a video out every single day. I don't know how he does it. He's an absolute machine. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, when I see the videos, I go, he must be just loving doing this full time. But yeah, I mean, you know, work on the weekend, edit during the week, put a video out. But yeah, as we know, especially down in Australia, as we know, I mean, ammunition's not getting any. I just bought 1,000 rounds of ELDMs for $566. I mean, that's a fair chunk of money just for 1,000 rounds. So that's not primers, brass. You know, I've already got that stuff, but you know, again, that costs money. So, and that's just, you know, things just keep going up and up and up. No wonder why my mate said this is not a cheap sport, even more expensive than golf.
Yeah, exactly. It's I know I get asked all the time, how much does it cost to make one of my review videos? And well, if I'm counting in my time, it's a day to film. Well, you've been out with me filming, so it's a whole day to film. You get home in the afternoon, you're pretty stuffed. It's an entire day to edit one of my videos, and then money-wise, anywhere I could spend a small fortune on targets and ammo. So normally, if I'm counting my time, and it's about $700 to $800 a video cost me to make for the bigger ones.
I used to, me and Aaron probably knows this, but we used to joke too. I said, Matt, we get really good numbers on the live streams. He doesn't even have to leave his house if he doesn't want to anymore, if he wants to get some good views. But I thought I'd do a shout out again, Aaron, just to, we've got Rob's Woodworking. He's back. Of course, our buddy Chris Miller down from Victoria there. We've also got Colin Penfold, one of our big supporters as well. So welcome back, Colin. And I left someone out. The Real Australia, who done a bloody good, what do they call it? I've gone blank right now. Super chat. Yeah.
He's donated quite a bit recently, so thank you very much for that as well. And thank you, JR, for your donation. We got James here, James LR. Nice to see Matt Rumsey here, a new face. I haven't noticed him before. Dirty Fox. We've got the boys from the National Shooting Council in here as well. It's just great how big this show is getting. As we keep saying, we can't believe it. We only just started. We've got 100 people continuously, and so we're normally getting about 1,000 to 3,000 views per show within a week. So it's always exceeding our expectations. And I'm just looking at the questions here, man. We got an absolute ton of them. Yeah, that's for sure.
And our buddy Sean Fraser says to tell us the goss on the horse shooting. Well, we don't know any goss. We're just going to give our opinion because with me and Aaron, probably got to be honest, me and Aaron went head to head a little bit during the week, and we both got a little bit flustered with each other because, he disagreed with what I was saying and I disagree what he was saying. So we'll probably have a little bit of a chat about it, come up, see what you guys think. I mean, see if you agree with Aaron or you agree with me. Hopefully it's me. If it's me, you're going to be all right with me. If
it should be me. It should be me because I make sense. And but yeah, we just got to be careful. Sorry, we just got to be careful. We don't want to get sued tonight. That's a big thing. We don't want to get sued by an overzealous organisation.
Yes, we don't want to get sued because we can't afford the fees to get sued. So we'll see what you guys think. I mean, I think Aaron did have some good points, but I think there's some key areas we probably missed out on in where I was coming from. So anyway, maybe we'll get into that and have a bit of a chat. If you've got have you got the article there to have a chat about, or no? We're just going to
no, but I've read it and I know exactly what it said. There was several articles basically repeating themselves, but one article that actually broke out into a bit more information. So basically, what it is up in the Northern Territory for the overseas viewers. Oh, hang on, we just got another super chat here from Crazy Horse. Thank you so much, Crazy Horse, for a $10 super chat. I just can't come too far down because I'll lose all these questions I want to answer. So
let me say one thing. How ironic we get a super chat from Crazy Horse when we're talking about horses getting shot.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. And so what happened was Northern Territory, I'm assuming as a couple of shooters, because they never really said exactly how many shooters. So a group of shooters will say, but probably a couple. Most people just shoot in pairs, don't they? And we're on a station, a very large station, cattle station up in Northern Territory. They were given strict instructions, a map and everything, where to shoot and where not to shoot. So basically around the homestead and some of their livestock and these horses were all inside a 10 square kilometre radius. So they weren't even allowed to enter. They had no permission to go into that area at all. So you can go 10 kilometres around the outside of the homestead, basically. That's my understanding from the article. So they somehow, neither of us can figure this one out. I don't think anyone can figure this out. They managed to get in within 4.4 kilometres of the homestead and started shooting the owner's horses. They're mustering horses, I believe. So they're not cheap. And so they started shooting them. And in the end, they managed to shoot 30 of them. Then it gets better. They start to try to hide the evidence. So these blokes, must be more than two actually, because dragging a dead horse is no mean feat. So they started trying to drag these dead horses into some shrubs and that or something to hide the evidence. And pretty quickly, these dipshits realised that, this isn't going to really work out too well. So we better go and just, fess up on what happened. So they went to the homestead, told them we've done, what did it say in the article? we've done something that we shouldn't have done, or something on those lines. We've shot your horses. So it went from there. Cops are called. Cops came and did what they had to do. Now it's all up in arms. So the news articles have said they're from the shooting organisation of the SSAA. Now, other articles I've seen in comments, other comments I've seen are saying this whole shoot was organised by the Darwin SSAA. I don't know if that's true, but that's just what I've seen in people's comments from people up there saying they were organised through Darwin SSAA. But we can't confirm that much. But the articles are saying they're from the shooting organisation. So we can only assume that it was a part of that farmer assist, where they go and the SSAA, you set an accuracy test and they sort of suss you out, and then if they think you're a good enough shot, they'll send you off to properties that you can shoot under, and I think under their rules as well, their sort of code of conduct and that, because I guess you're representing the SSAA, aren't you, if you get sent there underneath their program? So you've got to abide by what their set of standards, which is fair enough too.
Yeah. So, let me just go here. Can I add? I just want to just so people can get an official like what it was. So it said 30 horses worth about 500 grand were shot in a remote Northern Territory station. Then it goes down a bit further. The horses. This is the interesting part, right? Maybe people can chime in about, is it legal to hunt horses in Northern Territory? Because I did see a link that Aaron sent me the other day saying it was legal to shoot horses on their website, but that might have been New South Wales. But I don't think it is in New South Wales, because we have the Brumbies down in the, like down near Kosciuszko National Park down south. You can't shoot them, especially on public land. So if any of you guys know the legality of, is it wild horses on private land? Obviously, I don't think public land you're going to be able to do it. But what about private land? Maybe you guys can let us know. But it said the horses were not shot in a humane or professional manner, as one would expect from members of the Shooters Association, Miss Lorison said. Initially, there was shock and disbelief, then grief and heartbreak. There is a dispute over whether permission was granted to shoot in the area from Kalani's managers or directors. So that'll be an interesting part as well. There's 541,000 hectares of land, which is nearly double the size of Adelaide. Wow, okay. The Northern Territory spokesman for Sporting Shooters Association of Australia, or SSAA, said the matter was in the hands of insurance companies and the lawyers. Well, if they were shot illegally, I don't think you're going to be insured. That's definitely for sure. Northern Territory Police have also confirmed they're investigating the incident, and the company is looking at a civil suit seeking compensation for its staff. So, yeah, I mean, go on. What were you going to say about it?
I absolutely forgot, because I'm bringing this story up here that was talking about the distances and everything. So, yes, 29 horses it was. It was the SSAA NT branch, it says here. This is the story from a horse Facebook page. I think it is 29 horses from the SSAA branch who had an agreement with the station to rock on down and shoot pigs, not horses. The shooters were shown a map with the station in the middle of the centre of a circle with a 10-kilometre radius. Told there was to be no banging inside the circle, to which they agreed. They found the horses 4.4 kilometres from the station centre, shot them all, and tried to drag some of the carcasses away and hide them before giving up and going to tell the station what had happened. This is what these hunters said. Maybe we shot some horses they shouldn't have.
How are you going to shoot like 30 horses that are the size of a small car? And how are you going to get away with that? I mean, was this just an absolute massive lapse of judgment where they shot one and then I guess they got a bit, I won't say psychotic, but they just got completely stupid and overzealous? I mean, where are you going to get rid of 4.4 kilometres away from the main homestead? Where are you going to get rid of all those dead carcasses? You'd have to have a backhoe, be digging a hole probably 20 metres wide and so deep to be able to dispose of those horses. I mean, how did they think? What reality did they think they were going to get away with that?
It absolutely dumbfounds me. Like, I've been hunting a long time, so has Jason, and like the last place I went to a while ago, it was 26,000 acres. and we were given a map and we were told this is where you shoot. Okay, part of this hunting ethics, the first thing you should always do when you go to a new property is go out during the daylight hours first, because a lot of hunting's done at night, spotlighting and that. Go out during the day, take your map that the station manager has given you, drive around, get your bearings, figure out how to get back, because you don't want to get lost in the middle of the night as well, and figure out where you can, what direction you can shoot in, what your backstops are, everything like that, and get to know where you can shoot. The last one I went to, it was half an hour's drive just to the beginning of the area before we were even allowed to shoot there. So it was half an hour's drive from the station manager's house and the barracks we were staying in. So it's the first thing you do. And I assume these guys did not do that. It's not brain surgery to drive out and just to scope the place out so you know where they're going. Jesus, imagine if they got closer and shot into the home or something in the back, like the house was in the backstop area.
The only thing I think, and again, it's no justification, of course, but they must have thought they were big pigs.
Yeah. And to get on about what you said before, sorry, that's what I was going to say about the Brumbies. Yep, Brumby shooting in the outback, far as I know, is legal on private land. As far as I'm aware, because I know people who have done Brumby shooting, and they do cause a lot of damage. I've seen a stampede, a video of a stampede from a helicopter, and when they were going, there was hundreds and hundreds of Brumbies, of these horses, just railroading fences, just like the fences weren't even there. And they cause a lot of damage. And it's like camels as well. The camels are a bit of a plague in the outback. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure your private land, you can shoot them if, once again, this is what we're going to talk about later on. If you are told you can shoot them, you shoot what you're told. If they say don't shoot this, shoot that, you don't shoot it. Full stop. You don't even go near it.
What happens though? Let's say, and I don't know, maybe people can tune in. Let's say it is legal in the Northern Territory on private land. And they say, well, the farm owner told us to shoot him and mention those. Who's right, who's wrong? They say, well, he told us we could. You know what I mean? So, geez, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, I don't know what they're saying. If they're admitting to it, again, hopefully we'll follow up again in the coming months to find out what's going to happen. But what was your beef? Because let's go on about the beef, because I think this is going to be very interesting. So, Aaron, as we know, should I go first or should you go first?
I'll just thank Chris Miller here, being a bit of a smartass. Maybe it was Vic Pole Police. They got a lot of ricochets. That's the usual story, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yes. Thank you for that.
So, listen, I agree that, if this was, see, we know they're members. We don't know, as far as I'm aware, we don't know exactly if it was part of this farmer assist program. So I guess if in my point of view, I'm thinking, well, if they're being paid by the SSAA or paid by someone, then yes, potentially the SSAA could be responsible. And I think that was the line that Aaron was taking, that the SSAA would be responsible under the Farmer Assist program for the actions of those individuals. But I guess I'm coming from a different point of view that, well, end of the day, we both know we're not big fans of SSAA. We don't think they do a lot for shooters. We're not really fans of them, right? And it's just getting worse and worse as time goes on that they don't fight for shooters. But I think we also need to think critically and say, well, if they were volunteers, they weren't being paid by SSAA. They obviously done their testing, their proficiency testing. So they went to the range. They would have had to probably do a shooting test. So that's reasonable. They didn't have a criminal record. They were vetted by SSAA, but that's my whole point. They were vetted. They didn't have criminal records. They got gun licenses. They did the program. They passed the criteria if it was part of Farmer Assist, and they went out there and did the job. So, as much as I'm not a fan of the SSAA, I don't think they should be held responsible, because at the end of the day, they're volunteers. They're volunteers. They don't get paid. There's no tax file number. There's no payment. There's no superannuation. There's no nothing. So, again, I'm not defending SSAA, not a fan. But, again, we've got to stick, I think, the blame where it belongs, which is at the feet of the dumbasses that shot horses. Unless there was a miscommunication, that could be different again. So, again, I guess my point is, and I said this to Aaron the other day as well, what would be different what could we have done differently if they passed all the criteria of the farmer assist program to go and shoot there? What else could you do? They don't have a criminal record. There's no other test or verification that myself or Aaron could have done, because obviously they just went rogue and stupid while they were on site. So again, I don't blame them. I lay the blame at the individuals. And I guess it comes back to the point, as always, is that, again, we need to blame the individual. You know, they didn't work for SSAA. They weren't being paid by SSAA. So therefore the SSAA is not responsible. But if they did have insurance as part of their membership, I doubt they'll be paying out, because when you're doing illegal tax, but anyway, Aaron thinks different than I do. He thinks, because they're part of Farmer Assist, they can be sued and they should be held responsible for vetting these people. But again, my major question is, what would Aaron do differently to vet these people from not shooting these horses?
Okay, well, can I have a chance to talk now?
Ready to go.
Okay, I'll get to your question afterwards. So I thought, the way I see it is, I don't think WSA should be held responsible because they weren't there pulling the trigger, their organisation. But if you're sent, the way I see it, they could be held responsible, because if you're sent there as a part of the WSAA Assist program and you're flying underneath their banner and you've got to adhere to their code of conduct and their sort of rules, that could be lay a claim to along the food chain that, well, you're there underneath their banner. You sent these people to us. So basically, you're responsible for the sort of people you're sending here. And your name's attached to this because it's Farmer Assist. Now, this is all just speculation because we don't 100% know if it is a Farmer Assist program. But if it is, more than likely it probably is, because it's quite a popular and large program. And so they could just say, well, you sent these people here. They came here because of the Farmer Assist, and they wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for the WSAA Farmer Assist program. So that could sort of lay a claim to the food chain of it all. So, and at the end of the day, I've known a couple of lawyers, and they all said about suing, you can't get blood out of a stone. These dead shits that shot these people, they could be rich, who knows, I don't know, but they could have nothing to their name, not even a house. So it makes sense that they would try and come after an organisation with millions of dollars. They got the money. These guys may not have 2 cents to rub together. So if you're going to sue them, you go where the money is always. That's what all lawyers will tell you. You always go where the money is. You don't try and sue someone that has no money, because at the end of the day, you can't get blood out of a stone. That's my way of thinking about it, just because if they fly underneath the WSAA banner, if it was that's the way that they could be linked to it all. But I don't think they should be done, because the WSAA, at the end of the day, can't watch them. They can't watch them and what they're doing, can they, while they're there? So now, what would I do differently if I was running that Farmer Assist program? I would, if you want to go and use it for hunting, I would want to see 2 to 3 letters from other properties, from landowners, saying you've hunted their property, you're an ethical hunter, you're a responsible hunter, and you have hunted before. Just not a range Rambo and gets his first taste out on private land and goes absolutely nuts.
Just a very quick one to interject there. Most people, that's not going to make sense. I'll tell you why. Most people that are being part of that volunteer program don't have anywhere else to go. Hence, they're part of the Farmer Assist program, because they've got no one else to go. So they're not going to have that reference from other people, because that's where they're going. And this would also go in line with, like, as most of us, the people that are watching here, maybe in New South Wales, they hunt state property. So we've done a course with the New South Wales DPI to make sure we're proficient. We know the rules and procedures. This is what you can shoot. This is what you can't shoot. So if I go out there to the snowy mountains on public land where I'm supposed to be hunting deer and I shoot 15 brumbies, should the DPI be held responsible? They're not going to take responsibility for it, because, again, I'm a volunteer hunting in a state forest on public land. So, again, it's the same sort of situation. So, again, DPI wouldn't be responsible. They say, well, you're an idiot for doing the wrong thing. You're going to be responsible for that. So again, how would you, if they're going to have references, they're not going to do that, because that's why they're a part of this program.
Okay, how about this then? Um, you have to, at the end of every shoot you go on for the, okay, you get you get to go on your first one. So you do it. At the end of that shoot, you must have a form filled out, even if it's multi-question or whatever, from the farm manager or the person you report to on that property, saying you've done the right thing, you've picked up your rubbish, you haven't left the place messy, you hunted ethically, you were no problems, and you must show that to the WSAA before they give you an address of another property, something like that. And if you
definitely work. But what happens if this was the first one they've ever hunted on?
Yeah. Well, you get your first one free, I guess. You guys got to. You get your first one free, but after that, you've got to prove you've got a clean record each time. As soon as you do something wrong, you're kicked out of that program. That would work.
Yeah, no, that'd probably work. But let's say this was the first one. I guess coming back to the entire point, my entire point is, you can't stop retards doing stupid things. That's with people committing, gun crime. That's people committing massacres like we see in the US. We've even, like I said, I've said this 100 times before, in the rare situation or occurrence that it does happen, we've seen people with gun licenses do the wrong thing. We've seen that. Again, it's very, very minuscule, but it does happen. Going into and we will just talk about a quick one too, about the licensing. I had a guy that's been waiting a whole year, like me, for his license to be granted, and basically I told him to go to the local member, do all that stuff. Anyway, he did something a bit silly about 13, 14 years ago, so it's well over the 10-year period. He got rejected for the firearms license about 3 or 4 days ago when he contacted me, so he's looking at his appeal options. Again, it went to the commissioner because it was over 10 years old, the offence. He was like 1 week over 18 when he got this offence. That's quite a serious offence. No one died or anything, but it's quite a serious offence that he was a part of. And they've rejected him after 14 years from having a license. So, again, the commissioner made the decision. What happened was, again, same thing when that guy in Borkham Hills here in Sydney shot his 2 kids, then killed himself. He had a commissioner's permit. So it looks like now they're not willing to take a risk on people that have what they would consider a bit of a checkered history. Even though this guy hadn't done anything since for 14 years, since 2007, they still didn't issue him the license. So he's obviously trying to appeal the situation. How successful he'll be, I don't know. I spoke to him on the phone many times and seemed like a nice young 32-year-old fella. That probably learnt the hard way, did something stupid when he was young, like a lot of us have done, and, wants to get into shooting. And now, unfortunately, his past is catching up with him. So, again, it just goes to show, I mean, these people can be good, bad, in between, these guys might not even have criminal history, and then they've just gone out there with a couple of guns and, one shot one, and then everyone went gung-ho and started going stupid, which beggars belief where you're going to dispose of 29 horses. Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, I agree totally. You can't. Yeah, I agree with you on that field. But what we got into the argument about this week was, it was just I just see it as if you're flying underneath someone's banner, it's like if I hire someone and I send them out to a job site and they totally and utterly screw up, I'm held responsible, even though they could be a private contractor. I'm still held responsible because they're flying underneath my banner if something majorly goes wrong.
Remember, big difference. You're paying them. These people aren't being paid. That's that. I know people say, oh, what's that got to do with it? In a court of law, that's got a lot to do with it because they're not employees. They're volunteers. So, again, whether the insurance will pay out, that's obviously yet to be decided. But if they were found to be doing the wrong thing, I mean, nothing may happen. Like I said before, what if they say, mate, he said it was legal to shoot horses on private property. He told us, we could shoot horses. It's his word against his. Who are you going to believe? Are they going to get,
Well, I'd believe the station person because, they gave them the clear map and they should have had enough brains to figure out where they can and can't go. And they shot them inside that 10-kilometre exclusion zone. And it's pretty damn simple when you start trying to hide the evidence that you've done something you shouldn't have done. So you can't hide the fact.
But again, like I said, this is what, again, having stuff, this is why sometimes it's better, but no one wants to do that these days of having stuff in writing, an email trail with the owner. Hey, mate, what can I shoot here? But, as you know, man, most farmers and cockies don't want to they're not going to get on. They don't even know how to use email, some of these guys. So they don't want to be getting on an email. Hey, mate, this is what you can and can't shoot here. This is where you got to go. A lot of this is all just verbal and miscommunications. I'm not saying this is a miscommunication. This could be just total dumb fuckery, but, there was a miscommunication.
They were given a map, dude. They were given a printed out map saying where you can and can't go. It doesn't get any clearer than that. They got it in writing where you can and can't go, and they said they were told they can shoot pigs, not horses. I'm more than likely to believe the station workers over idiots who tried to hide the evidence. Myself,
yeah,
I think the police will see it that way too.
Well, I guess it's all going to play out in court what the evidence is and what evidence comes in. Again, once if you have there's 4 hunters and you're going to say we didn't get given a map, you got 4 against one farm owner. So, mate, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Going to be interesting to find out exactly what happens with this and what information is actually going to come out, if any, that we're going to be able to do. And again, like some people were saying here, like there's definitely no excuse for shooting. I wouldn't shoot a horse anyway, just because, I'm there to hunt ferals and it's just not my type of game to hunt. If you were there specifically with directions to do that, I'd be making sure if that was legal in Northern Territory, I'd be making sure I got that in writing before even remotely even doing that. So, but again, it's not my cup of tea. I prefer, rabbits, foxes, deer, those sort of things. So,
well, I think it all goes out the window when they trying to hide the evidence. That just admitting guilt. There's no way around that. Megan here says, don't they need written permission in Northern Territory? Otherwise, it would be right there what they were allowed to shoot. So what she's saying is, I don't know if you need written permission. You need written permission to be on the land. I don't think you need written permission to what you can and can't shoot. That doesn't have to be writing. You need permission to be able to be on that land. So if the cops turn up or anything, they know that you're meant to be here. Basically, that's what that's for. So you're not a trespasser.
How many people, though? I hunt on 3 different properties. Again, I know those guys quite well. Again, I'll be honest with you. I don't have I have permission, but I don't have written permission. It's my agreement between them. So you're probably right. We probably should, get a letter to make sure that we're allowed to be there. But again, the people that we go there are regulars on these properties for one property for the last almost 11 years. So, it's just not something a lot of people do, but you probably should. And again, if you go down to some of these areas outside of your major cities, and I'm talking a long way outside your major cities, I mean, you start putting paperwork in people's faces. Oh, mate, sign here, go there. The farmer's like, well, what is this? And they're not too keen, man. They just go, mate, just go to the back and start shooting. They're like, that happens a lot. And a lot of people know that. And
sorry.
Yeah, go. I was finished.
Yep. Yeah. I have letters from every single property I go to. I have it in writing, but it's very brief. I actually write it up myself, and all the letters say the same thing. It says along the lines, my name, and I then, whoever's coming with me, I just put their name on it on a separate letter so that everyone has their own letter. My name has been given permission to shoot on this property during the day and night. Has full permission to do hunting and recreational shooting at any time. And that's it. It's only a couple of lines, and you got to try and keep it as brief as possible and as simple as possible. Mm-hmm. So it's only a few lines, and then it's just got the name of the owner, and he just signs it. And I just give it to him. So can you please sign this, just saying that you're giving me permission? And they can read the 2 lines. It's very simple, no jargon. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's cool. Yep. It's just in case if the police come and see us shooting, we can say, no, we have a letter from you, and they don't have to come and hound the landowner.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to find out, exactly what's happened. Like I said, I just wouldn't shoot them anyway. Like, it's just not my cup of tea. But, how, why, I don't know. I mean, how did they, and people in here too is talking a lot about, which we're going to talk about probably during this show as well, is, they weren't shot, humanely. But, on the flip side of that too, I really don't believe anyone. And I'll put my hand up as well. I'm guilty of this. I think Aaron would, agree. You get people on the internet go, oh, I've never wounded anything. Like, mate, if you've shot enough animals, you've never pulled off a 100% great shot every time for your hunting career. The longer your hunting career goes, the chances you have of doing that are, a lot higher, right? But it's what you do after the fact that makes the big difference, is that you are able to, again, follow up with a follow-up shot to put that animal down as quick and as fastly and humanely as possible. So, again, people say, oh, well, it's not humane. I go, yeah, I agreed. But again, to say that people get on their high horse, so they've never wounded or shot a rabbit or a deer or whatever it may be, or a pig, and that shot has come off 100% every time, bang, flop. Like, I don't believe that. Sorry, I just don't. I've done it. I admit to that. And I follow up the shot and I finish the job as quick as I can. So, again, what do we classify as, humanely? Putting it down straight away. They could have put 10 shots in them for fun. Who knows? We don't know, mate. They shot 29 horses. We don't know what the hell they were doing, why they just peppered them. They could have shot them and then just kept shooting them for fun. That's what morbid pricks do. So,
yes, I agree. Hey, I've do a lot of pest control stuff, and yep, you go out and like the last time we shot 450 pests between two of us over 2 nights, and yeah, there was a couple that were still alive, but we saw that straight away and put them down within seconds of the second shot. It just happens. It's what happens, and I'll agree with you. You just get these self-righteous pricks who just think they know absolutely everything, and they are a Chris Carl sniper of the hunting world, and they never miss. And man, I've hunted with some absolute top-notch shooters, way better than me, and they still get that as well. That still happens to them. So yeah, I agree totally with you. And actually, Mark, Pity Mark here says, under the Farmer Assist program, all WSAA members participating in the program are covered by the association's $20 million public liability and personal accident cover. But does that cover it if you're doing something illegally? That's
no.
exactly, you're committing a crime.
You're covered with the 20 million, even if you're not part of the Farmer Assist program. If you go and hunt on private property, you've got that 20 million indemnity as part of your insurance. But again, it depends on what you do, whether if any illegal activity. That's why I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about this insurance, because that if you do something wrong, why would the insurance company pay out? If you're going to shoot cows by accident, why would the insurance company pay out? Are they going to pay out illegal behavior? I think they say anything you do with a firearm that happens to be incorrect will most likely be a crime, so therefore then probably not going to pay. So again, I don't know how good the insurance actually is.
Well, shooting a cow would be an accident, and that's not an illegal activity. You're not premeditating. You're not doing it on purpose.
What is if I shot cows?
Yeah, well, that would be different, because, it's just not an accident. Then it turns into one hell of a barbecue. So,
but you know that the insurance companies will try and use any reason not to pay out on your insurance. Like, how good is anyone? And a good question. Has anybody used that insurance? Have you ever needed that insurance? Tell us in the comments below. No judgment on our end.
Yep, exactly. I have only heard that once you use it, it's basically a one-time thing only. The WSAA won't renew your membership. I've heard people comment on that sort of thing on forums. I don't know how true that is. I don't know anyone that has used it. I do know a couple of guys I met at the gun shop who actually had their guns stolen, had that $20,000 that didn't cover everything that was stolen out of their gun safe. And they said, this is all, I'm going off what they told me. They said it was an absolute nightmare. It took them forever to get it paid out. And the stuff that wasn't covered, their household insurance covered it, and they got paid within 2 weeks for that stuff. So yeah, I'm always a bit skeptical, because I used to work in the insurance trade doing building, and I've seen what they do. And they try and get out of absolutely everything. I mean, down to the exact nut and bolt what you're going to use. If you can get it cheaper or free, they'll argue about why didn't you get that cheaper. They'll try and do anything to get out of a claim, anything whatsoever.
Matt Rickard says this is a good point. So he goes, so wait, so we don't know what we don't know that they weren't shot humanely. People will say, well, because you shot anything really, like including a horse, well, it's not humane. So again, we've got to wait till the full facts come out. But he goes, we don't know other details such as calibers of rifles used, range they were shot at, time of day, visibility, etc. Yeah, I mean, we can only get so much information, mate, from the articles about the situation. But again, my main thing is, it's always comes down to the old adage, whoever pulls the trigger is the one that's responsible. Again, if they were sent there as an employee of a company, I'd 100% back Aaron and say Aaron's 100% correct. They'll be able to sue SSAA because they're employees of SSAA getting paid a wage, with tax file numbers, bank account details. They're employees with employee numbers, whereas these people are just Joe Blows off the street like us that probably don't have anywhere to hunt, which is fair enough. A lot of people don't have anywhere to hunt. They're trying to get access to properties. They're trying to get access to these farms and through these farmer assist style programs. And again, they were vetted. They got gun licenses. They probably don't have criminal records. Otherwise, they wouldn't have guns. So there's nothing you can really do, is my point, to know when people are actually going to go stupid when they get a firearm in their hand, when they've got free reign access to, 521,000 acres to go stupid. And maybe they just thought they weren't going to get caught, but beggars belief how you can get this bad.
Yeah, well, I don't think they should be sued, the WSAA at all, because they can't look at them. But my whole point is, if you're working underneath the banner of them, that could be a way that they're going to come after them. And plus, as I said, lawyers are going to sue people with money. But if they don't have any money, they'll go after the next best thing. They may lose, but they'll give it a go. I think they'll try. But normally when you're sued, you got to go to mediation, and a judge first will tell you whether you can go to court on this or not. Yeah. So it's tell us, guys, in the comments, who do you agree with, me or Jason?
Aaron's
the right answer or the wrong answer?
He was pretty hard on the SSAA. Now he's slightly agreeing with me, which is sort of not the conversation we had 2 days ago. So again, he was adamant. SSAA. Hang on. That SSAA was responsible, and they'll probably be getting sued, and they'll be the ones being sued. Where I'm saying no. So anyway, let us know if you think I'm correct. Let us know. We'd love to hear your opinion. If you think Aaron's correct and SSAA are responsible for it, let us know. But Chris Miller says he's on the fence with us idiots. All right.
Okay. And neither. Bagara, Jason. Yeah, I can't take it. Can't believe what Bagara says because he shoots the same gun as Jason, so he's biased.
Come on, back me up. Back me up.
Capitalist, I got none. Come on, guys. If you want a free hat, just make sure you back me.
Hang on. JR says you both have good points. He's on the fence. No, come on, guys. You've got to be leaning towards me or towards Aaron. Oh, HD says Jason.
Me.
Aaron, Jason, 2 from 2. Aaron, 0 from 0.
Come on, guys. Back us up.
Oh, Matabella. Jason again. That's 3. Hang on, guys. Just hang on, guys.
Now it's just mob mentality.
Hang on, guys. Just going to get my little pad out. Hang on a second. Here we go. All right. What do we got? We've got, let's have a look. We've got, you keep talking. We've got Bagara. We've got
one for me. 2 for me.
Hang on.
3 for me. 3 for me.
Oh, wow. Come on, guys. That's it. Hang on. You count yours up, Aaron. We'll just keep going.
3 for me. 4 for me. A lot of guys don't want to win some free stuff. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
Hang on. J-So has answered both of us.
Hang on, just one at a time. One at a time. Here we go. Another 1, 2. Mate, it's pretty. You're getting a few there, but Andy's let me down. Matt Rumsey's let me down.
Another one for me. Another one for me. It's looking pretty even.
Mate.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly you can't count. Clearly you cannot count.
Some people are going both of us, so that doesn't count at all.
All the Kiwis voting for Aaron. Yeah, that's true. Harps 666, 100%. Okay, Lucas, he's gone again. He's voting twice.
Yep. You're the man, Lucas. You are the man. Yep.
Let's go, Luke. Oh, another one. And another one. Oh, hedge his bets. Another one.
Another one for me.
Ah,
Okay, let's get on to some questions here.
yep. Let's hit the questions.
Yep,
Anyway,
yep. Okay, pretty
I'll
even.
put that down as a win for Jason. Oh, another one.
Yeah,
Another one. 3,
yeah.
4, 5,
Another one for me.
6.
Yeah. That, you're just
7.
playing into his ego, guys. Jason can't handle losing.
Here we
As
go.
I said, thank you, Lockie. As I said the other day, you just can't handle losing. Just like when I
Again.
kicked your ass at the long range shooting.
Jason, JSO AR-15. Look at him go. Oh, look at him go. Anyway.
Okay, that's a bit of fun. All righty, let's find. So I've lost a lot of the questions at the top, unfortunately. Let's just come down here. McNolan picked up my Ruger Precision 17 HMR last week. Good gun. I'm looking at doing a review on that very soon, actually. They are awesome guns. This is good. Adapt Down Under. Subscribe to the channel. First live chat and join the show. Thank you very much. It is awesome. So please hit that subscribe button. Guys, we're getting close to the 200 mark. We're almost at 160 consecutive people watching. So please phone your friends again and get them on. Let's get over that. I think it was 210, wasn't it? 208 was our best ever. So let's try and, yep. So let's try and get it up past 208 this week. So it'll be good. So get all your mates on. Tell them to tune in so we can have a look at, so we can bust the numbers again. So it's get this one the biggest video. Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, I agree with Nick here. Well, something is very clear. Some people are too dumb to have guns. Should we have an intelligence test when getting a license to test? If you can tell the difference between a pig and a horse. Yes, I think that some people, by the sounds of it, really do need a test, like one of those kids' books, picking out animals.
someone was asking too about, if it is legal, basically, what caliber would you shoot a bloody horse with? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'd probably say a 30 cal if it's legal. I mean, that'd be my 30 cal and above would be my reason, I think, to try and get a humane kill.
I know 3006 drops them quite nicely. I know that for a fact. Hog sounds like a big miscommunication between the parties involved. Well, I don't know typically about that because, as we said before, they were given a map and we're told where to go, where not to go, and what to shoot. So that's a pretty big miscommunication. If they didn't understand, or they couldn't read a map, it comes back down to common sense and basic intelligence. If you can't read a map, you shouldn't be there for a start.
See, they've already admitted to it. Well, then, it's basically case closed. But if they said, oh, no, that's not what we heard, that's not what was said, then it's going to, again, I'm just saying that this is what happens in a court of law. It comes down to evidence, on what evidence they have. And if they've got 4 guys saying, well, no, that's what they told them, it could be very hard to prosecute. Again, I'm not defending them. I hope they do. I hope they go down for doing such stupid things. But again, it's also going to come down to, that's like any case, it's going to come down to evidence, and man, a lot of people are asking about the election coming up. And when's your election? 25th of November, not far away, for the election in the great state of Queensland.
Yes, it is going to be a good one, that's for sure. It's going to be interesting. She's definitely taking a big rap now. No, she was going good with this COVID, but now the Premier is taking a huge nosedive, total huge nosedive. There's something here about the 300 Win Mag I'm trying to find. Someone just said.
Some people are asking about the different parties, Kata, etc. Comments.
220 grain Sierra Match King for the 300 Win Mag. Well, they are the rounds that I use for my 300 rum, which is a little bit bigger than the Win Mag, and they are tack drivers. Absolutely awesome. That's what I shot out to 1.6 Ks with it and got a headshot and a gut shot on a gong at 1 mile. So they are awesome projectiles. They are a bit pricey, but they are awesome.
Just wanted to say the guy, Rob's Woodworking is correct. Sorry, I just jumped on Google. It's not the 25th of November in Queensland. It's the 31st of October. I was looking at the 2017 state election. So my apologies for that. Queensland, it's October 31st this year. So, yeah, basically you got 4 weeks until the Queensland election. Very difficult, I think, because you got no upper house. So very difficult to elect pro-gun parties because you've got to get enough votes in your local jurisdiction to be able to get someone elected. So it's always quite difficult in, Queensland. And someone did say to me the other day, said, well, we don't really have, except for Catters up far north, we don't really have any pro-gun people in the state, as in, that are actually not elected, but as in, representing people of Queensland. And Queensland probably has the sort of better laws at least mostly around Australia. Probably Northern Territory aren't too bad. Queensland's not too bad, not great. Like I hate them compared to other states and other countries. They're terrible, but compared to New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, those types of things, especially Western Australia, terrible. Probably one of the better ones, and they don't have the representation in Parliament. So at least at a level, that's going to make any difference in Queensland. Yeah,
I got no idea because I don't follow politics. I just can't stand politics. I've got better things to do when I get older now. Okay, Megan says, mate works out on a stud farm, 45.70 he uses on horses. That will definitely put some hurt on it, that's for sure.
Some big 300 grainers, I reckon, something like that.
Yeah, they can get up to 505 grains, I think, for the 45.70. But you've got to cast your own and single load them because they're too long to go into a lever action.
Yeah, right.
Okay, what have we got here? Yes, Neil. The Burris Eliminator Rangefinder scope, any good, boys? I've used one. I was at a range, actually, and it seemed to work all right. It seemed to be fine for me. But once again, it comes down to batteries. I just don't like relying on batteries when I'm out hunting, only because if it goes wrong, these are all right because it's a day scope. So it's just got the numbers in it. But, like the night vision stuff, I'm just a little bit wary of relying fully on a scope that has batteries to be able to see. But, yep, it worked fine when I used it. It was on some dude's gun. I asked if I could have a look through it. I did a couple of shots, and it seemed to work really well. And all the information's right there in front of you, which I liked about it. But, yeah, they're good. I don't know how sturdy they are or how durable they are long term. But, no, they seem to be quite good for me. Easy to read inside the viewfinder. So, definitely take a look at it.
If I was going to go that one, the one that looks a bit better is that Sig Sauer, the Sig version. The same. It's expensive. I'm not sure how much the Burris Eliminator with the rangefinder is, but I've seen those Burris Eliminators before. The big one. It kind of looks a bit odd in my opinion. It's not the best looking scope, is it? I mean, the bottom of the base, no, I'd go the Sig, man, if I was you. If you got the money, I'm not sure how much the Burris one is, but I'm not saying it's going to be bad. It just looks like a bit of an abortion, really. But, again, that's my taste. But if your taste likes it, go ahead and buy it, man. But, again, I'm just saying have a look at that Sig scope and rangefinder combo package, the BDX. Yeah, I think you might like that. And it looks a shitload more modern than that Burris Eliminator, dude. So check it out, man.
We've got Jason and me did a talk on one a couple of years ago, but it's up on the channel. And I don't know if I've released it yet, but there's a couple of videos out on some lift codes with me using it, and I really did like the Sig. I actually took these out the other night, the Night Vision 4K ATN binoculars. And this is a built-in rangefinder. I didn't know that. And this is actually, I was pretty damn impressed. I was looking at 300 meters away with the infrared light in here, and it worked really well, really well. So
you couldn't tell with the big button right on the top of it there?
What big button?
Face it to the camera.
That one there.
Yeah, the
on and off button. Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't realize it had a rangefinder in it. I didn't read the instructions. I don't read instructions.
Well, why else would there be buttons on there, man? You don't have buttons on binoculars.
Okay, dickhead. It has buttons for your vision, for your day-night, for recording. Lots of stuff. Okay. So once again, you have proved your ignorance and incompetence.
I'm still marking it down here. There's at least 35 to me, less
Oh,
to
here
you.
we go. Where did you go to school for mathematics? Matthew here. Money is with the WSAA lawyers. So WSAA lawyers will probably win. Yes, and thank you to Pig Hunter. Hey guys, enjoying the show. Good work. Thank you very much for your $5 super chat. Any questions here you want to answer, Jace, while I'm looking through these?
No, I've just been looking at the guys, just having a bit of a chat in the comments. I've got one. We'll talk about this one. This one's very interesting too. We'll talk about it because we'll talk about the police last week. So this is an interesting one that came out again about the carelessness and how we never get away with anything when something happens where we do the wrong thing, and maybe some, they should be a bit more easygoing on working with people from the firearms community. So this one is search for stolen police officer's gun and other items in Fraser. ACT policing are calling on the media and assistance after the police officer's duty belt was allegedly stolen from a police car in Fraser on 30th September 2020. Significant numbers of ACT policing and officers patrol Belconnen looking for the stolen items, unfortunately with no success. ACT policing have confirmed the duty belt was stolen, including firearm has gone missing. There's a few items that have gone missing, such as the baton, the capsicum spray or pepper spray, I should say, the firearm, the belt, and the extendable baton, and an encrypted police radio. So again, the question was, why was a duty belt off the person whilst they were in conjunction of their duties? Why was the belt left in the vehicle for someone to steal? So that's a very, very interesting question. I mean, were they going somewhere? Were they seeing someone? Was it left in there carelessly? Again, no real reason why most officers that are always wearing their belt while they're on duty. So again, how was it left in there? Again, will there be any charges? Will they lose their job? Probably not. It's only us that when we get screwed, did you have the gun locked up? What did you do? Like I've seen this before a lot too, when people go away hunting. Most people travel quite a fair ways away to go hunting. So, you have to expect that you can't lock up firearms. You have to make them as secure as you possibly can in a vehicle. Again, I travel often, and I'll be doing that in November, traveling to the Riverina, 8 hours away to go shooting again on the large property, maybe some duck shooting, rabbit shooting, target, a bit of, target or verification shooting and stuff like that. So, we have to do what we can to secure the firearms, which is normally locked away in the vehicle when not in use. So again, I just don't know why the duty belt was off their persons. It makes no sense to me at all, but I'm sure again, they'll slapped on the wrist and they'll investigate themselves and they'll find no wrongdoing as usual.
Yes, well, we had the incident, I think it was in Casino, just over the Queensland border in New South Wales, where the detective left his bag with his gun and ammunition and magazines in the bag, and by the time he realised, someone had picked it up and walked off, and that gun has never been found. Then we had the
It was in McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's, walked away and it was gone, never been found yet. Then we have the Queensland police officer on the motorbike that dropped his loaded magazine while he was riding his bike, and all hell broke loose. It basically was all over the internet screaming for people to go out and look for this magazine that he incompetently lost on the motorway. You hear this quite a bit of them losing guns. Then you had, was it 200 AR-15s that lost in delivery from the wholesaler to, I think, North Queensland. It was they're travelling to, and they never made the destination. 200 AR-15s for the police gone missing, and no one seems to know what hell's happened there. You never hear any of them getting done for that. So it just goes on and on. The list is endless, this sort of crap. And if we even did a dropped one primer, we'll get done for it, let alone leaving an entire handgun on a front seat of a car.
Pepper spray, baton, gun, encrypted radio. I mean, the list goes on.
Everything we can't have. Yep. Here we go. Sean Fraser, think WSAA can be done for this regardless of payment. It'll be interesting.
Think I'll find you wrong, but Time will tell. As I said, if any of you guys see what's going on, and let's get it, we'll see if there's obviously, because you think charges would be laid fairly quickly. You think there'd be compensation, lawyers would involve, so we shouldn't have to wait too long before we start seeing some type of legal action where there's a court date set down for some sort of compensation or suing the SSAA. So if any of you guys see that in the Northern Territory, let us know. We'd love to find out the court number and the court hearing or the hearing number, so we can do some checks on it and keep on top of it.
Yes, exactly. And if you come across any other articles, follow-up articles that we may have missed, please send us a link or email them to Jason and me. To our emails are in the description down below, and just let us know about any articles you see following it up, because we can't see everything all the time. So that's how we get a lot of our articles, are from you guys sending us links. So if you see any follow-ups, we'd love to know what that is.
Yeah, and you've got not sure if your super chat's come up, old Dirty Fox. Dirty Fox. Love that name.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring it up here. Man, the amount of questions we're getting is unbelievable. Thank you very much, Dirty Fox, with $20 donation. What ADI powder would you use for 9mm? I have 115 lead round nose projectiles, and I want to use. Thanks, love the show. Also, have you tried reloads in your PC charger? Yes, the actual PC charger loads I use are my own hand loads. I'm using the Berries, I think 124s, I think they are, in the 9mm. And I made over 10,000 of those 7 years ago, and I'm still churning through them. They are, what is it, the AP50, and I think I don't know the exact grainage on there, but it's in the manual. You'll see it in the manual. And to me, it's not like rifle handguns. It doesn't really matter. Just find one and just make sure it's strong enough to make your slide go working fully, because you don't want a weak load. Like when I was shooting a lot of IPSC, they'll all try and come in with real weak loads, very weak loads that will hardly move the slide, because they don't want any muzzle flip on the handgun. And a lot of them would limp wrist it as well, and so the slide just wouldn't go all the way back. So definitely just load it up. What they say, just go the maximum, shove it in there, and press your bullets. It's not like you're shooting a rifle. You're only shooting 5-10 meters with the things, so you don't really have to be too precise and accurate. So I just picked the maximum load and just went with that with AP50.
Wouldn't it be great if rifles went on like 4 to 5 grains of powder?
Oh yeah, the bank balance would love it.
And I'm sitting there today, even I loaded like 200 rounds of 260 over like the last 3 or 4 afternoons and a bit last weekend. I was like, man, this freaking chews up a lot of powder at 42. But then I'm thinking, once I go to that Bagara, the 208 grains, it's anywhere from 77 to I think 81.5 or 82. It's like, shit, man. Like I think I did 45, 50 reloads out of the 7mm. I think, like 30 or so from the 300 Win Mag, about another 20 or 30 for the 7mm. I think it's almost gone. I've got like a quarter left.
Yeah, well, my 300 rum, I'm running, I think, 92 grains in it of 325. Yeah, and that doesn't go far. The 500 gram bottle doesn't go far at all. So, yeah, it definitely bigger calibers, a lot of fun, but they add up. Even the 300 rum, it's only, 50 grains, and that soon adds up as well. So Andy, Andy, $7.99. Can you guys recommend a decent pair of boots? Sorry, it's off topic. No, that's fine. We'll talk about anything. Boots. My hunting and my I only ever really wear boots, no matter what, around my property and when I go out. The Ridgeline. I find them so comfortable. They lace all the way up, extremely waterproof. So I really do like the Ridgeline. But for work, I just picked up a couple of pairs from Payless Shoes. They're $89, and they are the most comfy boots I've ever tried for $89 at Payless Shoes. Work boots, steel capped, and they are awesome, so comfy. And I got bad feet and ankles from being in knees from being in the construction trade, And these boots I picked up for $89 were fantastic. I don't have them here,
Yeah,
but
it just depends on what you're actually doing. If you're just getting out, walking around, a bit of long range shooting, bit of, lying on the hill, not far from the vehicle. I mean, any basic boot will work. But when you start getting into that hiking, you're trekking the Victorian deer country, things like that, where you're out for 5 or 6 days, camping. You need a good set of boots, man. You need a good set of boots that fit. You got it depends how much you want to spend. I don't know what your budget is, but you got lowers as well. I think they're from New Zealand. I mean, they're obviously quite good, very, very well known. But with those, again, you're not just buying a pair of boots. You got to buy a pair of boots. You need to look after them so they last as long as possible. Treat them, waterproof them, keep the leather in good condition or whatever they're made out of. So you got lowers, you got 511s, you got, there's heaps of boots at Ridge Lines. Again, if people know more about boots, chime in the comments below. Help Andy out, man. Give us some names. And people are saying here, Ridgeline Warriors, squat combat boots, best ever. You got steel blue boots. I think they're blue steel. I got a pair of blue steels, but like I said, they're just work boots. Again, they're good. I use them as well, but again, I've used them walking around, and not the best, like good boots, but just not for that type of hunting. We actually got a backpack on, and you need good, secure, strong, tight, not too tight, but good boots that aren't going to, swing around, slide. Your feet aren't sliding in them. You're not going to get blisters, things like that,
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm in my boots for 10 to 12 hours a day at work, and then I don't stop. And when I get home, I'm still going. And these ones for $89 were absolutely amazing. They really are. And they last a long time because I had the first lot for 2 years.
Yeah, but you're not really a deer hunter trekking the Alpine territory for
No.
10 Ks a day. You're like, oh, hang on, I got out of the car, bang, right, back in the car.
Yeah, I'm on a construction site for 10 to 12 hours a day, then around my house working on it all night. Yeah, I'm on my feet the whole time walking around. Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. I can't say anything bad about them. I think they're actually Oliver's who make them. But I'm on my feet the whole day. And these are the most comfortable ones, especially on construction sites. I've stood on planks with nails through them and never had a problem, and you name it, up and down scaffolding. And very, very comfy.
Got the someone recommended them to me a while ago. The Merrill Moabs, I think they are Merrill Moab, Moab from Merrill. You got someone saying Vipers, Ridgeline Addicts. You've got the I can't even say that. Altama. Yeah, I don't know, something like that anyway. A lot of good choices, man. Sky's the limit with boots, man. But you buy the expensive ones, man. You got to, when you take them back, take care of them. Use the waterproofing stuff. They normally the good ones you can buy. It comes with a good treatment for it. Again, when you come back from a hunt, you dry them out. You spray some stuff on them. You look after them. Because again, you're not paying $400-500 for a set of boots if that's what they're going to cost. If that's what you want to do, without looking after them. So,
yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options out there for that. Actually, we've been asked that a few times. What are good boots? So I might put out in the next couple of days my Ridgeline video showing a bit of the camo gear I actually wore, and I have the boots in that. So it's another thing we get asked quite a bit, isn't it? What camo do we buy? Do we need camo? Is it that important? I've just always used the Ridgeline camo because I've even used that in New Zealand. So I've had Ridgeline big heavy jackets for 10, 15 years that have never let me down.
Yeah. And the same thing I've sat on bike tracks here in Western Sydney, mucking around with a fox whistle, and had foxes come up to me about a meter away from me while I'm wearing a bike helmet, pair of sunglasses, a shirt, and a pair of, shorts. So I've had deer where I'm wearing, camo, like just normal black pair of pants, from like a Best and Less or something, or Lowe's or something, like cargo pants or whatever they may be. And just I've had a shirt or a jumper on, mate, big orange beanie. Mate, I've had deer walk 10 meters away from me. They say it works, does it? I don't know. I mean, You know, I've had used it and not used it and still had good results with both, man. So, you know, take your pick. I just think it's sometimes good to wear camo because, you know, you don't want to wear your good clothes out hunting and that, you know, if you're going to buy good clothes, you know. But, you know, I've seen guys in flannelette shirts and pair of jeans running around in the bush and shot deer 2 meters from with a bow. You know, so is it necessary? I don't think it's necessary.
No, you just wear, a lot of times I wear, t-shirt and cargo pants. Pretty much does me.
I think what's going to get you more, the three senses, you know, they smell you, see you, or hear you. That's much more important than camo, in my opinion. Especially, I'd probably say number one, movement and smell equal. Sometimes you can get away with a bit of movement. You'll never get away with the smell. That's for sure. Once they smell you, gone. And if they're not gone, maybe they're deer that they smell something, they know something's wrong, but they've never been shot at, and they don't know what's going on. I've never seen it. Every time a deer's come across me and they've gone past me, mate, you should see them when they get onto your scent because they're past you. Then they get scented and they're like, you know, Usain Bolt, mate, running off. So, you know, again, scent was always the biggest one in my opinion. I'd go scent, seeing you, movement, and then hearing you.
Well, here's Big Toe. Bow hunting, it works and is a must. So, yep, definitely. But bow hunters get a lot closer than us shooters. So, yeah, if it works, what was some of the worst things I've seen out hunting is some people that I hadn't been with, which is very rarely. I'll go with people I don't know or hunted around. And here we're just about to go out and they're sticking Lynx deodorant on, spraying themselves. And
hey? I do that sometimes. I do that, but I don't.
Not when I'm going out hunting. I don't. Not when you get. Oh Jesus! Not when you're about to hop in the ute and go hunting. He's stinking like a TV commercial.
No, I've done that before. I got to admit, I've done that before. You know, I've gone there, you know, a bit of Lynx deodorant. But maybe we should talk about while you look at the questions. We'll get people's comments on, you know, what hunting ethics means to them. I think that was we probably haven't spoke about that much about the show, which we sort of did because that went into, you know, about the horses and stuff like that. So, yeah, what do you guys think? You know, hunting ethics actually is, and what does it mean to you? So let us know in the comments. You know, I guess I don't know what Aaron's going to say, but I guess I've always lived by, you know, hunting ethics to me is just, you know, what I perceive to be, you know, a humane kill. So whether that's, you know, basically I look at my ability. If I believe and I'm skilled enough to take a shot, whether it's at 30 meters or at 500 meters, I think hunting ethics to me comes down to what I'm actually comfortable with. You'll get a lot of people out there, especially surrounding long-range shooting, that'll say, well, that's not ethical. But, I mean, that's their ethics. You know, I don't think we can put people's ethics on, or our ethics onto other people. But, you know, again, what somebody might be confident in taking a 600-meter shot. The next guy might be only comfortable taking, you know, a 150-meter shot. So I think ethics comes down to, A, what's legal, and two, your experience. I think that's ultimately my number two takeaways from, you know, hunting ethics. You know, like I said, you know, making sure you're comfortable, you're trained up, you know what you're doing, your experience, you're practicing. You know, again, doesn't mean a guy that's shooting a kilometer, you know, you go in the net, there's plenty of guys like the Gunworks guys, mate, they're pulling off big shots at 800-900 meters. They do it all the time. They shoot for that. They've got guns set up for that. You know, again, some guys might say it's totally irresponsible. Well, you know, again, is it legal? And do you have the experience and the skills to take those shots? If you do, then that's fine. If you don't, and it's 150 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters, that's cool too, man.
Yep, exactly. Definitely don't shoot outside your comfort zone. That's one thing I agree with you 100%. And as Chris Miller, I agree with him totally. Be kind to the animal. They deserve a clean death. And that's 100% correct. You've got to do your best to get it down. And if you don't think you're going to do it, don't take the shot at all. I'm capable and happy to freehand shoot up to 500 meters on something a bit bigger. I know regularly I've shot with my 300 rum piss out of cart 450 meters without any problems with the rum. Right? And there's another thing I want to talk about. I've got a bit of a list here, actually, I made up about stuff like it comes down to ethics is also what you should do on that land, on the property, how respectful you need to be. Everything from driving on the tracks, just don't race all through the paddocks and churning up the grass. Try and keep on the tracks. And most of the tracks on a lot of the farms I go to are around the perimeter of the paddocks. So you don't go around ripping through paddocks and just churning up the cow's grass and that. That's not what the owners want to see. So be respectful there. Take care of the land. Don't think it's just your personal playground, because they won't have your back. And it's not a good look. And it comes down to stuff like gates. If the gate's closed, you reclose it. If it's locked and they gave you a key, you relock it behind you, even if you're going to come through it again. A lot of people don't do that. I've known hunters on one of the last trips, some strangers that were on mates were just leaving gates open. They were city folk. They've never done this before, just leaving it open. A lot of new shooters on property may not know that. If the gate's shut, you re-shut it. If it's locked, you relock it. Even if you're going to come back in a couple of hours, you leave everything how you find it.
That's why you've always got to have a gate pitch in your car.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I always like driving, so I don't have to get out. Also, what we talked about before, what do you shoot? You shoot whatever the landowner asks you to shoot. If he says don't shoot this, and if you say do shoot these, I need this sort of pest gone, please shoot these. So if they say shoot these horses, wild horses, please shoot them. You just got to do it. You can't say no, pick and choose like a buffet.
If it's legal, let's put that down. It's got to be legal.
Yeah, if it's legal, yeah. It's not. You can't use a land like a buffet and you pick and choose what you want to do. If the landowner asks you to do something,
I've heard some stories over the years where, farmers again, you got to understand that they are, a lot of totally different than a lot of people. Sometimes they may ask you, and I've heard stories before where shooters have had to reject, saying, "Well, make sure you shoot this and this." And then people are like, "Well, have you got the permits?" They're like, don't worry about that. Farmers are like, they're blasé. But again, you've got to make sure you're following the rules. And, and then again, I'm not saying they are doing that, but if you ever come across that, is to try and, guide them into, going and seeking the approvals they need. So you're able to take on those pests legally by doing that, and whether that's getting the permits, whatever it may be. So we're just got to make sure, again, farmer can tell you to shoot something, but if he doesn't have the permits, you can't shoot at the end of the day. But
No, exactly. And fires are a big one. If you want to do a campfire, make sure you ask the landowner, because they may not want fires. That area could be a full fire ban right now. So you got to make sure it's okay with the owner. I even got a mate, someone who set half a paddock on fire and almost burnt down the barn. Do you know who that is, Jason?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it didn't burn. There was no barn, but it was moving. It was moving. Well, yeah, I was trying to do that. I'll tell people that story. I'll tell that story quickly. I was on the property and it was windy, and he said, "Don't burn the stuff because whatever." And I just thought I didn't want to leave the rubbish there. You're trying to do the right thing anyway. It was a bit windy, so I there were bags. So I just put it on fire in this area where they normally have fires. And I looked over this little crest and I thought, what's that bit of smoke? And so I walked up. You only got to walk about 3, 4, 5 meters up onto where the road is, sort of thing, like the dirt road on the property. And you look over, and mate, there was a fire about 2 meters, about a meter wide. Mate, my heart just sank. I ran back to the house, which is 30 meters away. I'm tapping on the window going, "Get outside," to my mates. He's asleep. He wakes up literally freaking out like someone's been murdered. Anyway, luckily the farmer that I speak to is it's a very, very small town of like 300-400 people. He's the fire warden. So I ring him up and I said, "Mate, you got to come now." And he goes, "Did you burn it?" I said, "Yeah, I was just trying to do the right thing." He goes, "Nah, it's all right." Anyway, it's moving along the river towards his expensive machinery. I'm like, "Man, we're screwed. We're never going to be allowed to go back here. I've done the wrong thing. I'm just trying to do the right thing." Anyway, he comes down and he goes, "Oh, shit. Okay, this is not good." Races out. Anyway, about 3 minutes later, boom, straight over the hill with the big brand new fire truck with the big sprayer on the front bumper, and he's like fanning it, and then he's it burnt probably, I don't know, 3 acres, probably 3-4 acres, man. And I was like, man, he had it out in about 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm so sorry. This is, I understand if you're not going to want to have us back here, man. Like, I've just made an error. I can always fix him up with beer when I go down there. I said, man, I'll buy you like half the shop if I have to. He goes, don't worry about it. It's all good. So I bought some extra stuff anyway. He comes down at night to have dinner with us, and he's like, don't worry, man. Who gives a shit? I don't care. He goes, mate, we got to use the new fire truck, man. How awesome was that? And I said, man, you cannot get a better farmer than this guy, man. Like, I've never met anybody like him. You did this at someone else's place, chances are you're never going to be allowed back, man. And, he was just like stoked he got to use the fire engine. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. It was brand new. First, he goes, mate, we just got to use it. Never been used. And I said, wow, man. So, but again, try and do the right thing. You learn from these things. You try and do the right thing. And, sometimes it works out. Luckily, we're able to keep the fire off the machinery. So thank God for that out of 200 grand's worth of machinery. But I think we went home like 2 days later, man, because of the smoke and inhalation. I couldn't, mate, every 10 seconds, I'm like, just coughing. So we pulled up stumps and, yeah, mate, I've been back about 3 years after that. So, he's cool as, man. We joke about it now. I go, you had any fires recently? And he goes, you bastard, like he just laughs. So,
yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one. But another one we get asked quite a bit is what caliber to hunt with. And I always say, whatever caliber is big enough to take the game. There's no such thing as overkill, but there is such a thing as underkill. Now, a lot of people shoot 223. It's a very common caliber, but you wouldn't use that on some bigger animals because it's just going to wound them and they're going to have a horrible death, or they'll survive but be in a lot of pain and a lot of infection for a long time. So make sure you have decent sized calibers for what you're shooting. It doesn't matter if you're shooting bunnies with a 300 rum or 300 Win Mag. That's humane because there's nothing left of them and they don't know what hit them. But if you shoot a fox with something totally underpowered, they're not going to have a good time, and that's something that you can't do. You can't be out there injuring animals and leaving them and, oh, well, I shot it, who cared? They'll run off and die. You can't have that mentality. You got to make sure you're shooting a big enough caliber. That's why I shoot 30-06. That's my main hunting gun I take with me everywhere because I know it will drop everything from bunnies right up to deer and even a few things that are a bit bigger.
You wouldn't think the bigger calibers, like on the rabbits, like I said, with the 143 grain ELDXs from Hornady, man, like if people go on, put it this way, if people go on the Australian Hunting Podcast Facebook page now, it's my most recent post pinned to the top. I uploaded it to Facebook just this afternoon. And you can see the first 3 or 4 shots are all the 260 Remington with that 143 LDX, and man, just explosive. Like I've never, even with the what was that, the 70 grain Blitz Kings out of the 243, I just didn't see what I was seeing at about 200 meters with the 70 grains. Absolutely. But as Chris is saying here, the 243, I'm going back to the 87 grain VMAX. So Chris, they better be good, mate. I haven't shot any game with the 87s. I shot targets with them for a while, but mate, they better work, mate. Otherwise I'm coming down to your house to shoot some deer.
G'day, Chris. Good to see you. Some more friends from the US. Good morning from the USA. It is 6:25 a.m. Well, what's the time here? It's about 8:30 over here in the PM in Brisbane and Sydney.
Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night. Yeah, so it'll be there Wednesday morning over
50
there.
for bunnies, Carl's saying. I wonder, yeah, I mean, if you got the money, I mean, people were blowing up a little bit. So one guy was blowing up about, waste of money shooting with the 260. And I said, it's all right. I can afford it. It's a bit of fun. You don't do it all the time, 4 or 5 times a year. Again, some of these properties too, it depends. The farmer might want them gone too. But, if you do too good of a job, that's going to be no bunnies to shoot left. So,
yeah, exactly. And Rose says 2 bigger gun scares the animals away. Well, they're going to get scared out of pretty much anything that's, any sort of crack or a sound. So, yeah, I don't really know. Like the 223 makes a decent crack, doesn't it?
Yeah.
243 makes a good crack.
Pretty much any centerfire, same as 222, 250, anything that's going pretty fast, man. There's not a huge difference between the smaller cows and the high cows, in my opinion. I mean, unless you're using a brake too, then it gets even worse again. Hey, we've been saying for years, give us suppressors like every other normal country in the world. They talk about noise pollution. They talk about range noise pollution, hunting noise pollution, annoying neighbors. Wouldn't it be great if we could have suppressors? But again, none of our politicians, pro-gun or the like, will act on and get some legislation through for suppressors. So been waiting 24 years since Port Arthur, almost a quarter of a century. Nothing's happened. What's going on? Where are the results? Queensland elections coming up, you know?
Yep, exactly. And maybe if you got... Oh, sorry. Yep.
I was going to say, you've got to start negotiating with these politicians. Start getting some wins, get some notches on the belt. Get some wins over the line, so to speak. It's time. It's time.
Exactly. Kevin says... Lever Guns 50 commented on one of Shooting Stuff Australia's videos. I assume they're another channel. If you got your channel open there, have a look at who they are, Jason, if you got it open.
Who's that?
Lever Guns 50.
Lever Guns. I just don't want to play anything, because if I do, it'll come in the live stream, you know what I mean? Because I'm running through from the computer through this deck. So if I play anything on the computer, is it YouTube?
YouTube, yeah.
Lever Guns.
And Colin says there, ethics for me is 1, respect people and respect their property. 2, respect the animals and give them a quick death. I think, that's definitely the tops of the list of everything. It's exactly it should be. Respecting the property is a big thing, and that's the one thing that the property owners absolutely hate, is people just running amok on their land. It's something they do not like. So that's something you must really be very conscious of. And come down and take all your rubbish away. Don't leave rubbish there. Even if there's rubbish bins, take your own garbage bags and take your rubbish with you. That's what I always do.
But I think a lot of people too, when generally people talk about, the ethics sort of thing, they're more that's part of it too, obviously, but most people are talking about as well the ethics of taking game, taking life, doing it correctly. I've seen YouTube, the same thing. People, sometimes you're not going to get a good shot, and you've got to try your best to reload quickly and try and finish it. But then again, there's been times I've been with people, there was one time, it was a great shot. I don't know how, I went straight through the shoulder, and deer just got up and it was straight in the bush. Some people, you never find them sometimes. You try and, mate, it was a killer shot, but mate, sometimes they got adrenaline that you just couldn't believe would be possible after taking such a hit through the side with the correct caliber. So, sometimes, that's sad and it does happen. It's not good, but, what do you do when you make a good shot? You don't expect that to happen. So, and that's going to happen to people. To say it's never going to happen to you is just, it's not true. The more you hunt, the more you take game, the more chance of that is of happening. So if you can finish the shot, you try and do that as quick as you can.
100%, that's for sure. Here's another thing. We get asked, how do you get on to the hunting properties? Because here's a little story here from Matthew Dennis. The missus had a bloke from Ipswich, which isn't too far from where I am, poking around the back door of the house to see if anyone was home, just to ask if he could hunt. The missus was on the toilet at the time. She was pissed off. So what is the best way to get onto these properties? I've just found it's pretty much word of mouth. Like if you get on well with one property owner, you get onto a bit of land, they will tell the neighbouring properties that you are a top bloke and you do the right thing, and then it's another one, and it's sort of word of mouth. But getting that initial property is extremely hard, because people won't want to go hunting with you if you don't know you, basically through safety as well. And sort of like what we talked about, Jason, this week. If you and me were there and these guys started shooting those horses, what would you do? Man, you'd have to try and stop them somehow, wouldn't you? If you were there and these guys were strangers to you, what would you do if they started going rogue and doing that? And you try and stop them. Would they turn the gun on you or what? You have to neutralize the problem straight away. or at least give it a go, because at least you try to stop them. You're not going to be implemented into the crime.
Like, what would you do if you had 5 mates and you're fresh into the community, you've met a couple of guys on the first trip, they go stupid, and you're like, what the hell? Why are you guys doing this? And what do? You're going to be implicated in doing that. So do you go speak to the farm owner and, basically pack your gear and tell the farm owner they've done this and then go to the police? Well, what do you do in that situation? Do you try and grab the firearm off them? Do you say, what are you doing? Because if you try and hide the crime, you're going to be just as guilty. So what would you do? A very terrible situation to be in if you don't know who you're hunting with. And that's why a lot of people aren't really keen on, going with people or introducing new people, because they don't know what they're like. And, I've had it with friends too, and, bring new people. And I say, well, do you vouch for this guy? What's he like? What's his situation? Now, 9 times out of 10, if this guy's a good guy, he's normally hanging out with other good guys. So it's never really a problem. But one thing I want to say here is the Aussie shooter says, got to stop using those target rounds for hunting, Jason. I go, no, that wasn't me that time, dude. That was actually a factory round hunting bullet. So but I mean, there's a lot of guys now, again, if you listen to that podcast with Nathan Foster, Terminal Ballistics with Nathan Foster that I put out, again, a lot of people are using those match bullets, ELDMs, for hunting now. I mean, a lot of guys on the internet, Rogie Productions, a lot of guys know him from New Zealand. New Zealand Hunter does a lot of long-range hunting. He uses the 208 grain ELD matches. Air Arms Hunting South Africa. There's a lot of guys out there that are using those with really good success. Just because it says hunting bullet on it doesn't mean it's a good hunting bullet either.
Well, we proved that, didn't we, with the Desert Tech, when we reviewed it. I'll try and get those up real soon. We took out the federal hunters in 6.5 Creedmoor. Absolute shit. No, they were totally inaccurate and no good. And then the week later, I loaded up some match bullets, which is the 147s, the match ones, and they worked absolutely perfect. So yeah, and they were good enough.
They were the soft points, the Hornady Blue Box. They were good to about 400, 400-500 at best. They started to, when we tried them with 500, they were pretty decent. Like I think it was 480, 475. Beyond that 1,000, man, they're just going everywhere.
Yeah, and we actually hit it once, but we didn't know. We didn't even bother go check the target. And then a week later, when I went down to go and look at the target and set up the camera for the match bullets, we actually got one hit. We couldn't even. It was that week we couldn't even tell that it even hit. Couldn't even hear it. So, definitely. I agree with Nathan Foster. Like I've dropped animals with Sierra Match Kings on my 300 rum, 220 grain. But you get hit by that, you ain't getting up. It's just going to rip right through you. So I've dropped quite large animals with it.
He was saying, like I said before, depends on distance. You've got a hunting bullet that's got a harder jacket and you're shooting long range at 600. Is it going to have enough energy, kinetic energy or whatever down range to be able to open up properly? But same could be said again for, say, a hunting bullet, say proper hunt like ELDX, say 100 meters, where it hits hard, fast, and quick, and it's got enough energy and enough speed to open up well. Whereas those, same thing. If you've got a match bullet at closer distance, may not be the best option, but further out, that becomes sometimes the better option. So again, trial and error, see how you go. But what do you reckon, mate? I think 8:35. We're probably going to start wrapping up. But what do you guys want us to talk about next week? What do you think some of the topics? You guys recommended this topic from last week. We thought it was a good topic. And then guess what? Some guy went and shot $500,000 worth of horses. And then we better not say what we're going to do this week, man, because we don't want karma to something bad to happen.
Exactly. And Chris from the US has just said, that's what we talked about before in the beginning of the show. Is there an ammo shortage in Australia? Well, 22 ammo is getting a bit scarce. Some of the stuff is sold out, as Aussie Capitalist has said. I'm assuming because you guys are getting a shortage on primers, that, it's going to flow down to the US, to Australia. So it's definitely going to get a bit tight here. In the US, 9mm and 223 5.56 is very, very getting very rare and very expensive over there. So we're going to see a shortage of that as well, I dare say.
Let me just, before we finish off, I just want to say one thing. Joseph said a decent chest cavity shot would produce a decent bleed. Well, I had a story where I shot a deer at about 75 meters with 168 grain Sierra. I think it's the Outback ammo. That's using the Sierra soft point. a soft point boat tail, mate. That deer ran up into the forest probably 40 meters. And then when I gutted it out to take the meat and drag the carcass back to my vehicle, mate, the heart, if I can actually do this, was like that. It was literally butterflied. Only the last quarter of the heart was still intact, and that thing still ran 50 meters, 45 to 50 meters. So again, sometimes these bastards, these animals, they just run on adrenaline. They're dead on their feet. And like I said, when I saw that heart, I actually brought it back to my mate and I said, look at this. And he goes, oh, mate, that would have been dead on the spot. I said, mate, no, it ran 50 meters. It was almost a butterflied heart, split literally in half. Couldn't have been more perfect. So again, sometimes, guys, you just don't know. And that was a perfect shot. I saw him kick hard. And I thought, boom, right behind the shoulder. Perfect. 168 grainer. Hit him hard. Didn't, ran up into the bush, had it up, and luckily he was still on the game trail. This was a very thick pine forest. So luckily he was still on the game trail, walked up, jumped over a couple of dead trees that had fallen down. He was right on the other side of the dead tree. So, yeah, not always the case, guys. Some animals, you just, how they do this, you just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all adrenaline, just spur of the moment. Andy said we do one from hunting gear, from swags to torches to rifles to scopes and ammo, even 4x4s. We have done a couple of shows on that, but yeah, we can always do more in the future, that's for sure. But we have done, I think it's 2 shows on hunting gear so far we've done. So yeah, we can definitely do something along those lines.
Just one more before we go, because this one's important to you. I'll just do it quickly because Neil's a regular listener. He goes, 22 LR ammo for the T1X. What's good? So we'll just go any ammo. The CCI standards are good, man. The Federal Hunter Match are good. And what's that other brand? I've totally gone blank. It's the...
Did I give you some of that Fiocchi?
No, you did. What's the English brand, guys? You guys know it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's got they changed it from the white box now. So Ely, that's it. Well done, Mike. Legend. Good. And Nick, Ely. Yes, Ely high velocity or the Ely subsonic. I've never had really good results on anything sort of really high velocity above, say, 1200. I just don't think 22 long rifles work at all on any of that high stuff. It just blows out big time. I don't think it's... Some guns will shoot it. I've never had any success, even with high-end guns. My mate had, a couple of CZs as well. They just did not shoot, man. So 1200 and under, 1250 and under, mate, always works pretty well. Subsonic just always seems to shoot well in all 22s of some description, CCI subsonic, Ely subsonic, the Federal Hunter Match works really well too, guys. So, yeah, plenty out there. RWS, take your pick, man. Just go to the range, pick some and shoot it. Pick the best one and buy 1,000 rounds of it. Luckily, I've got a shit ton of 22 LR, probably 1,000 rounds of Ely and probably 900 rounds of the Federal Hunter Match. So, good shit.
Yeah, I've got thousands and thousands of rounds of 22, but I do find the CCI standards pretty much go well in any gun that you feed it through. I find, I think they're the go-to for everything.
Good. Let us know what you want to talk about, guys. We'll look at the comments tomorrow as the stream finishes, and we'll come up with the topic for next week.
Definitely. Aussie Capitalist, the Ruger Charger is going awesome. No stuff ups, and I've put probably good 500-600 rounds through it so far. Fantastic. Haven't had a problem with it. So we'll wrap it up there. It's been an hour and a half, and thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and really appreciate it. And once again, please smash that subscribe button of the channel and like it and share. We need you to share these videos and share the videos that I make, the reviews and all the other stuff, because to share it, it gets it out to more people and it gets better numbers and the channel grows. So please, like it and share this video and subscribe. And if you like the videos that we do, we can find both of us on Patreon to help the channels out, which will be very, very appreciative. We don't talk about giving donations that much. Everyone says we should talk more about it, but we're not ones to really ask too much about it, holding our hand out. But yep, this time, please, if you do like it, you can find us on Patreon. Everything would be appreciated. Everything helps. So, guys, have a great week and a fantastic weekend. Hope you all get a chance to get out shooting, and I shall talk to you next week. Good night.